LeeAnne, senior forward from Gonzaga, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. First of all, I want to get an idea of what you do in your free time now that things are closed. Obviously, as a team, you guys have to be really smart and kind of locked down. What do you do in your free time right now?
Yeah, great question. School's been crazy for me this semester anyway, so I've been pretty preoccupied with that. Um, but in terms of for fun, I mean, me, Jen, and Jill all live together, so there's always something happening in our house, whether it's watching a movie or playing Wii or Rock Band. So that keeps things fun and interesting. And then our team's also been pretty big on the game Among Us. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's sort of like a mafia game, and it's like on an app through the phone, so you can like play together when you're not together. I actually have yet to play, but everybody, I swear every day at practice, people are talking about it. So that's one. But yeah, I've just been pretty busy with school and basketball. So now that we're almost done with school, hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit more outside of that. And I know Jen and I and Jill have been wanting to go to Chick-fil-A, so we might just bite the bullet and wait in line there, but we'll see.
That activity alone will probably take you about 5 hours, so you can knock out some time
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
For the game Among Us that you were talking about, that the whole team is talking about,
Yeah.
what is it about or based on?
Well, have you ever played Mafia or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I guess there's like it assigns. I've only played Mafia, but I haven't played the game. But it assigns like to like two killers, and then they have to like try to secretly like kill the rest of the people or something without the rest of the group finding out. But then like you can kind of like vote, or like you come into like group meetings to try to figure out who the killers are, and like it sort of is like a debate, I guess. And so like you can kind of like team up with people and be like, no, like they were just with me. I know that they weren't like on this side of the death or whatever. So it kind of is like that whole deal, I guess, but it's pretty fun.
Wow, so it's like Clue, like the game Clue, board game Clue, kind of.
Oh yeah, I think it is sort of like that,
Like
yeah.
mystery.
Anything to pass time, I guess.
Have to. Okay, last question on the video games. Who's like the most competitive within your household and then on the team, like competitiveness with the video games?
Oh, um, okay, so I haven't played Among Us yet, but I I would say like in general, probably Jen, my sister. I feel like, well, growing up, it's always turns into a debate no matter what it is. If we're playing one-on-one, if we're playing board games, if we're playing Wii, like literally anything. And that definitely carries over now. So I would say Jen. She takes her games very seriously.
So you've been dealing with this your whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into the actual basketball side of everything. You guys started off your season in the first bubble that you've been in. What was that like, and what was your day-to-day different from how you would normally maybe start a tournament in a normal year?
Okay, you just cut out on that last part. Can you just repeat? I heard like the day-to-day stuff, but can you repeat that last part?
Yeah, so just how different is it from day to day? Like instead of going to a normal tournament in a normal year,
Mhm.
how is this bubble, or how was the bubble in South Dakota different from normal?
Okay. Um, so obviously it was our first time, so we didn't really know what to expect. Um, it was difficult in like the aspect that like even like with your amongst your own team, like you kind of had to like be like it's only three to a table, and like you're always wearing your masks and film and all of that. And so I feel like that, like for me, I'm a very social person, and like I like love like team touches and all of that. So that's been difficult for me. But just like day to day, it was difficult and like just different, like not being able to go outside, and like you pretty much go from like the gym to the meeting room to COVID testing to your hotel room. So that was different. And then, yeah, it definitely is an adjustment. And But I mean, we're all in it together, which is nice. But yeah, it's different for sure. And I think like I just have to keep reminding myself like I'm just thankful to be able to play games. And so like I'm just gonna do what I have to do. But yeah, it was difficult. And I know a sort of a joke that we all had was like we couldn't leave the hotel, and so people weren't able to get their iced coffees. So that was definitely hard. No, I'm totally kidding. There was definitely bigger issues that we had. But yeah, so that was just one challenge. But yeah, it was difficult and very different. But I mean, knowing that our team's like all going through it together helps, I guess.
It's so important to remember, like the being grateful for to be able to play and to be able to be as a team
Yeah.
together. I'm sure it helps. And also we can be grateful for iced coffee. That's very important.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So your first game against Oklahoma canceled. How about starting off the season against the number one team in the nation? I know you guys weren't intimidated because you
Yeah.
played that level of competition before, but
Mhm.
how were those first few minutes? You're going against top, the best athletes in the nation along with yourselves. What were those first few minutes like playing basketball?
Yeah. I mean, I think like a big theme throughout this whole year has been like resiliency and just like taking it day by day because things are literally changing every single day. So finding out that our first game was canceled was a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, we were just gonna get past it and move on and start preparing for the next game. And at that point, like we were all just so thankful to be playing another team and not having to go up against ourselves every day in practice. Um, and then obviously like South Carolina is a great team, and we knew that we had to come ready. And after not playing a game for months and months, I think that we were mostly just excited. And so there's definitely nerves that were there because it had been a while, but everybody was just super excited, and I knew that our team was going to come ready. But yeah, and it was just, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was like just the pace because in practice, like I think that we do a very good job of pushing ourselves and going hard, but obviously that the days drag on, and so it was definitely a fast-paced game, and South Carolina's a super good team and super athletic, and so we definitely had to bring it there. But yeah, did that answer your question okay?
Yeah, nailed it. I was just curious because
Okay.
I can't imagine, coming out and just right away you play the best in the country, ranked best in the country.
Mhm.
Obviously, you guys weren't able to win that game, but it was super close, very physical.
Yeah.
Take fans kind of, or all of us who I've been there, but after losing to the number one team and you guys have those high expectations, what is the locker room like? It's obviously not happy, like, oh, we competed. Like, what is the locker room like? And
Right.
what are those bus rides like after tough losses like that?
Yeah, I mean, we never want to settle, and we never want to be okay with losing because at Gonzaga, like we hold our program and our team to like a higher esteem than that. And so everybody was like obviously really bummed, and we wanted to pull it off coming so close. But then you also have to like look at the reality of the situation, and like we did go against the number one team for our very first game, and normally we have like a scrimmage and then like a few games leading up to that. And so we just had to give ourselves a little bit of grace, but obviously take and learn from it going into the next game and know that we want to do better as a team and we're not okay with losing. And so that was pretty much I guess like the biggest point that our team and that Lisa tried to drive home was that we competed and we did the best that we could, but we're not going to settle and we need to come ready for the next game.
So you guys beat South Dakota, lose a tough one to South Dakota State in overtime, but then you really look like, I think, how Zag fans know Zag women's basketball looks like against Wyoming. You guys came out and just took control against the Cowgirls. 12 out of 14 players scored. How did that game feel? And did that kind of feel like, as a senior leader, did that feel like it was you guys, your identity?
For sure. Um, and like I said in the last question, like normally we have a few games leading up to like, the kind of like the meat of the season and non-conference. Um, And so we haven't had that. And so that's been a bit of an adjustment. But I think in that game, it was really good for us because we were playing a little bit more like in sync and just more fluid. And it was really fun because like you said, pretty much everybody scored. Even if people didn't score, they still contributed in some way. And so it was fun to get to see everybody contribute and just be out there competing in people who normally don't get to in those ways. So that was really fun. But yeah, another thing too in Wyoming was I think that it was good for us. We were knocking down our shots a little bit more than we were in the previous games. So I think that definitely helped with the confidence. But yeah, it was a really fun game, and hopefully we'll have more like that coming up.
Tell me a little bit about Abby O'Connor, because we didn't know what the situation was going to be. She was cleared to play, and then she gets in. Clearly, she knows what she's doing from three, has 9 points in her debut. What is she like as a player, and what do you kind of expect to see from her?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we love Abby. Over the summer, me, Jill, and Jen, and then Sierra Walker and Abby were like some of the first few people on campus back in June. And so it was super fun, like just getting to know her during that time. And I mean, obviously we didn't know if she was gonna be able to play this year. Like we weren't thinking that she was going to. So that was just such a fun surprise when Lisa told us last week. But before she got here, like we had heard different things about her being like a defensive player and like doing really well at her previous school. And so I was excited regardless, just for like another awesome person and there. But honestly, I think the biggest thing that stands out to me about Abby is like her defense is amazing. She knocks down the shots that she is given and all of that. But I think that she's just like a competitor, and in practice, like if the ball is like rolling out of bounds or, you know, it might be a dead ball, who knows, like Abby is the one who's going to get it. And like, she's constantly keeping plays alive and just like super like energetic in the way that she plays. And so I really appreciate that about her. And also at her last school, she played a little bit of four or like a little bit of post. And so I think that now that she's playing guard, I really appreciate that she kind of understands like what it's like to like kind of work and battle in the post. And I think that she has like a really good eye for like different perspectives on the court. So that's been really fun as well. But yeah, we're really excited about Abby, and I love playing with her.
That's really fun to know, kind of the behind the scenes practice stuff. Like she's the player that you definitely want on your team, but like if someone else isn't hustling, she makes everybody else look bad, like because she's going so hard the whole time.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what she does. Again, for fans that don't know, obviously she transferred from Loyola Chicago. Surprise, she gets to play this year because her waiver was granted by the NCAA. Okay, so looking now at Montana, your first home game, non-conference, the only non-conference game at home. We'll get to the no fans and that kind of stuff, but what do you see for Montana? What are you guys kind of preparing for that you can tell us, and what do you want to be ready for?
Yeah, I mean, we are just going to treat it like any other game. We need to come ready regardless of who it is or what the rank is. And so that's what we plan to do. But Montana always gives us a good game, and everybody wants to beat the Zags. So we just need to come ready and hopefully play like we played in Wyoming and just knock down our shots, play together as a team, because that's our best basketball, and that's what we plan to do on Sunday.
Are they pretty physical? They're usually a pretty physical team.
Yeah, generally they are, for sure. And I mean, I think a lot of people are extra physical with us just because, especially in the post, from my perspective at least, just because as post players we're like longer and lankier, and so I think that we get everybody's like extra, you know. But yeah, Montana is definitely known for being physical and giving the Zags a good game, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, I can definitely back that up, because for games I would sit on the baseline and I would watch players just do all the sneaky things to you, your sister Jen. I mean, just like trying to root you guys out using knees, elbows. Like you guys definitely get beat up down there. That doesn't always get called, but respect the post play. Very important. So we know that we won't have fans at this home game. How different is that going to be for you?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part one more time?
Oh yeah, I was just asking how odd and different is it going to be for you to be playing in the kennel without fans?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the kennel that I have like come to know during my time at Gonzaga, but this year is not really like any other year, and so we just have to recognize that and make the most of it, and again, just be thankful that we get to play. And especially get to play on our home court. Fans or no fans, we know that, or like at least in person, we know that they're supporting us online and from afar. And so we're just really thankful for that and all the support that we get outside of it. But I mean, I think for our team, like we're all doing a really good job of, again, taking it day by day, and hopefully down the line we might have fans. But for now, we're grateful to get to play another day together with our team. And yeah.
And you've played in the kennel for 4 years. How, if this is your chance to kind of tell fans what they mean, you've been to all these other stadiums and arenas and you've played in all these different places. What makes the kennel and Gonzaga's fan base unique?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like when I was being recruited to Gonzaga, they like everybody was telling me about how fun it is and how insane it is, and just like the support that the community gives. And you don't actually really know like how, like to what magnitude, I guess, until you're in it. And I remember my first game just like running out and being like, oh my gosh, like this is legit and these people were not lying, like this is so much fun. And so I just think like I just feel so blessed to be a part of it, especially having 3 years of that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe at the end of this year. But really, like we are so thankful for our fans, and they're what makes Gonzaga and our basketball program unique. And we kind of joke about it, like when we go down to, you know, some of the schools that we play in our conference, and like you can pretty much hear like a dime drop. And so, except for actually, we do get a few good Zag fans at those games. Sometimes we have more Zag fans than fans of whatever school we're at. And so, yeah, we're just really thankful, and they really do make it so special. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see them again soon.
Yeah, Zag fans travel really well. That's been really impressive, and that place gets loud, but I have confidence that getting that game under your belt against Wyoming, you guys will be set and ready to go against Montana for sure. LeeAnne Wirth, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. We will talk throughout the season because now I know how good of a talker you are. I'm going to make sure that we talk again and hopefully I'll get to see you in person soon. But thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.